beginning of the British summer in North Yorkshire. Welcome to Croft, one of British motorsport's most picturesque venues. Now we're almost halfway through this year's British Touring Car Championship, but we still have no real idea about who's going to be the main challenger to reigning champion Fabrizio Giovanardi. The latest contender is his own teammate, although judging by what happened last time out at Thruxton, it really could have been anyone.
For the second event in succession, it's the youngest member of the Vauxhall team who'll be starting from pole position. Lights out, away we go, and it's Shedden who's taken the lead.
Well, I saw a kick of dust there, and look, and Onslow Cole's back in front because Shedden has had a moment down at Church.
Look, it's that left front tyre, and it's victory for Tom Onslow Cole and for VXR. Tom Onslow Cole looking to make it 2 out of 2, and it is the BMW of Colin Turkington who leads. Again, Turkington look at sliding, slipping, sliding. He's on the grass. That's real commitment. Has he got the inside cover? No, because Onslow Cole's there.
Oh, Giovanardi's gone off. He's got a puncture. Giovanardi's got a puncture.
The race leader's off. The tyre's given away on the last lap, and Tom Onslow Cole is going to take his second win of the day. Lights out, away we go, and it's a good start from the pole sitter. Shedden squeezes through. Shedden in trouble again, and Plato takes the lead. Gordon Shedden in trouble, another puncture, and now Giovanardi's trying to take second place away from the youngster, from Andrew Jordan, who's never raced really with these. Oh, they made contact, what a shame! That is such a shame. Andrew Jordan has to shortcut the chicane. He rejoins, in front and right, a gaggle of cars. Andrew Jordan in trouble. Oh, he's in the pits, and it's all over for Andrew Jordan. And Jason Plato takes his second win of the season.
So it was all action last time out at Thruxton. We're guaranteed more of the same over the next 5 hours live here on ITV4. Talk about the British summer, the 1st of June, it's absolutely pouring down, and that should make for really interesting racing through the steady rain here at Croft. This is our programme for today. Round 13 of the High Q British Touring Car Championship is next, with the Formula Renaults at 1:15. Then there's live action at 1:50 for the Porsche Carrera Cup, followed by round 14 of the Touring Cars live at 2:35. The Renault Clio Cup is on track at 3:15. Then it's round 10 of the Seat Cupra Championship at 5:04. And we round off the afternoon with live coverage of the third British Touring Car race of the day at 4:45.
Now, he turned 21 just 2 days before Thruxton and promptly won his first 2 races for his new employers, VXR Racing. Many people expected him to play apprentice to the championship leader, but Tom Onslow Cole here had other plans.
Well, it's a great place, Tom. It's something I imagine a young racing driver would live in. But you like it around here? It's a good place to live?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I've got a cosy little place here. It's small, but got everything I sort of need, and the gym crammed away in the corner there. But no, it's a fantastic area to be in. There's a lot happening all the time, and there's a lot of other drivers as well live in this sort of area, so there's a good sort of motor racing social scene as well.
Well, tell us about Thruxton then. You had your 21st birthday on Friday. At the end of the programme on Sunday, I said that I thought you'd come of age by doing that double win. What was it like?
Yeah, fantastic. Well, the birthday celebrations started off with Friday night in the Harvester. So it was a very tame 21st to start the weekend with, but obviously over a race weekend, that was the main focus. But we obviously had a very good run at Donington with the 3 podium finishes, and Thruxton's another circuit that I really enjoy.
But it was qualifying first of all, wasn't it? I mean, the second pole in a row. Yeah,
I mean, that's been the best bit about it this year for me, for sure, because last year I think my qualifying was probably my downfall and a definite weakness and chink in my armour, but we worked on it a lot over the winter, and this year we've come back and we've had some really good qualifying results. I was confident for race 1. I thought this could be good for us. We're away here, and I got a fairly decent start, and we managed to take the win. Race 2, maybe not as I planned, going back to 5th off the start. That was a real sort of big mistake, and coming back from there, though, for me was fantastic. To take the win again with ballast and coming back from a really poor start was a fantastic feeling for me, and even more satisfying than the first. Fabrizio obviously has the year's experience in the car, so he's been that bit more helpful because he already has it sussed. I kind of went into the team with the attitude of whatever he's got I want, and whatever he does I'll do. And it really did work. And then now these last couple of rounds I've thrown my little bit into it and changed the car a little bit to suit me, and it's really working for me.
I see the punch bag, but you've also got the ergo, you've got the bench press, and the abs machine as well. Not sure you need the abs for that's just for looking good, isn't it?
It is actually really good for your fitness. If you go like flat out at the bag for like a minute and a half, you really are drained, and it's very good for your upper body strength, which is obviously what you need for the cars.
And what about family life? Your parents support you?
Yeah, for sure. Dad's supported me obviously a lot through the whole way, and is still supporting me now. He gave me sort of, when we joined the Clio Championship, the first year we did it, we ran it ourselves, and from home, a lot of arguments, but we had a great time doing it, and it was a great way to get into it. For me, the saloon cars was always where I wanted to go. I mean, I used to go and watch Jason and Matt racing when I was like knee-high. I used to be standing on the bank at Thruxton. It's bizarre racing with them now.
I hope you remind them of that fact. How do you think you're going to go there against the Seat? That's too heavy for me. God, how do you do this? This is very heavy.
I've still got that 9 to 5 full-time job during the week. I started an internet company with my father 2 years ago now, and I still run that for him, and so I'm usually in the office. I've nipped in this morning quickly before setting off to Croft.
Very different circuit though.
Thruxton, I think, is one of the circuits where the ballast least affects you, but Croft, there's a lot of big braking points and a lot of direction change, so I think it's going to hold the car up a little bit, but at the end of the day it's third place ballast, 27 kilos, so it's not as bad as the 45, so I still think we've got a good crack at pole.
Well, Tom Onslow-Cole could only manage 6th fastest in qualifying yesterday, now that he is carrying that ballast in the Vauxhall Vectra. That meant that Darren Turner was on pole in the Seat diesel car, with Gordon Shedden just behind him and Jason Plato starting in 3rd. Fabrizio Giovanardi could only manage 12th quickest. That was in the dry at least, where it looks like the Seats have the advantage, although now it's in the wet. It looks like Giovanardi might be able to make up some of that deficit. Let's take a look at the driver's standings. As we say, Fabrizio Giovanardi does lead that, but Tom Onslow-Cole's double at Thruxton propelled him up the table, putting him 3rd and 21 points behind Giovanardi, Jason Plato remaining in 2nd. In the Teams Championship, Vauxhall lead that very comfortably from Seat Sport, and the BMWs of Team Halfords and the BMW Dealer Team UK are 3rd and 4th. Okay, the cars are lining up, we're all ready for racing. Round 13 is next. Welcome back to Croft. Rounds 14 and 15 are live for you a little later on, but the rainy conditions here have already taken their toll on 3rd place man on the grid, Jason Plato, who aquaplaned straight off the track and into the gravel trap and faced a race against time to make it to the grid. And we'll find out what exactly happened to him as we join our commentators Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Thank you very much, Ted. Well, real drama then. Darren Turner lines up on pole position in the first of the Seats, Gordon Shedden alongside him, but there is a space on the 2nd row where Jason Plato should be. He'll be starting from the pit lane now after that disaster on his reconnaissance laps. Colin Turkington then starts on the outside of the 2nd row. Watch for the rear-wheel drive BMW. On the 3rd row, the 2 Vauxhalls of Matt Neal and the star of Thruxton, Tom Onslow-Cole. Then behind them, we've got Matt Jackson, another fast-starting BMW, with Tom Chilton in the 2nd of the Team Halfords cars. Then it's Adam Jones, the man who leads the independence category by just 1 point over Matt Jackson at the moment, but he's 9th on the grid, is Adam, and next to him is Stephen Kane in the Motorbase BMW. Behind them, it's Mike Jordan and the championship leader, Fabrizio Giovanardi. Didn't go well in qualifying. He starts down in 12th. Behind them, we've got Stephen Jelly in the 2nd Team RAC car and Rob Collard in the 2nd Motorbase BMW. Then it's Harry Volkard in the Chevrolet Lacetti for Robert Shaw Racing. Jason Hughes in the MG is alongside him. Then we've got John George and Chris Stockton. Stockton had a little bit of an off in qualifying yesterday. Behind them we've got the young Scot, Michael Doyle, and alongside him, Alan Taylor. Restaurant owner up in this part of the world, Martin Bell and Andrew Jordan are together on row 11. And on row number 12, it's Aircut and Stuart Oliver. Aircut, of course, racing for Arcus Racing with sunshine.co.uk. Well, I'm afraid the sunshine is somewhat missing here today, Tim.
Well and truly, but we're surely in for a tremendous race. These conditions certainly sorting out the men for the boys. Plato making a rather elementary mistake on his outlap, locking up the front brakes going into the gravel. Giovanardi with the full weight, don't forget, will probably be glad of these conditions and an opportunity to use his car control and undoubted wet weather prowess to get through.
Well, it is a huge blow to Jason Plato and Sayat that he's not in third place on the grid. What an opportunity this was to close up that 18-point lead that Giovanardi has. Giovanardi starting down in 12th, outside the points. Plato looking for a top result, but now he's got to try and do it from the pit lane. So Darren Turner, who took his first ever British Touring Car win here at Croft 12 months ago, has now got the opportunity. But more importantly, watch for the BMW of Colin Turkington. He's got a space next to him where Plato should be. He's back on the second row, and he could be the one to watch at the start of the race. The other front row man, of course, is Gordon Shedden in the Team Halfords car. Let's wait and see what happens at the start of the race, the first of the day here. Lights out, away we go, and it's the two front row men away. Well, the BMW not as quick. Jackson makes a brilliant start in the other BMW. The white car of Matt Jackson really launched off the line, but up to the first corner, and Gordon Shedden is just trying to squeeze his way. Bobbing over the curb goes Darren Turner. It's Gordon Shedden for Team Halfords who leads. Turner being pitched a bit sideways. Stephen Kane spins through the first couple of corners, gathers it together and gets going again.
Clervaux, the first corner, is always tight, and that was very brave going around the outside of Shedden. Turner, to his credit, gave him room, and Shedden was just able to close him out.
What a start by Matt Jackson. He is in second place. What a remarkable getaway. He started from 7th. A brilliant start from him, but not so good for Colin Turkington. Watch out for Giovanardi trying to close up. Oh, we've got somebody way off. It's Turner from second.
Disaster for Sayat. This race has looked so promising for them with Pole and Jason Plato on third, but it's all gone wrong for them, and it's Matt Jackson pushing really hard in the BMW. He thought he could have had Pole actually in qualifying if he hadn't been blocked by Matt Neal.
So Matt Jackson in the white BMW chasing after Gordon Shedden. Shedden, who led twice last time out at Thruxton, only to suffer punctures, really hurting his championship campaign. But Matt Jackson charging all around the back of that Team Halfords Honda, looking for a way through, and he's getting alongside. Can he hold the inside line into the right-hander? No, he can't. Shedden just shuts the door. And Shedden, who put in a last gasp qualifying attempt yesterday to get on the front row, is determined to hold on to the lead. Third place at the moment for Colin Turkington, and then the first of the Vauxhalls is next up, and that looks like it is Matt Neal in 4th place. Yes, it is. And then behind Matt Neal is Tom Chilton, and then Tom Onslow Cole.
Yeah, Matt Jackson with has got a lot of faith in the grip of that BMW. It seems to be quicker absolutely everywhere, just on sheer grip, than Shedden. Shedden, the difficult job of leading the race and finding the conditions for the first time. He's now obviously onto his second lap. Not a lot of standing water, but still conditions very difficult.
Race leader Gordon Shedden still under massive pressure here from Matt Jackson. You have to wonder about the braking of the Sayats, the diesel-powered Sayats, struggling obviously under braking. Both drivers locking up and going off. But look at the battle here between... Oh, and off goes Turkington, but he's run wide. He might be able to get back on again. Squeezed out of the way by Matt Neal, and Turkington loses a place.
Yeah, Matt Neal, I'm not... Maybe he just touched the back of the Vauxhall there, but he was certainly through very quickly.
So Matt Neal gains a position. That puts the Vauxhall up to third now. We know that Matt Neal in this Vauxhall has been fantastic in the wet so far this year. Remember that victory at Rockingham he had. Now the Vauxhall in third will go chasing after these two, Gordon Shedden and Matt Jackson. Jackson, of course, the leading independent in this race. Only 1 point off the lead in the Independents Championship at the moment, and looking very capable here. If he can get in front of Shedden, he could pull away.
He could, and the BMW should be good on the brakes. It can use more brakes on the rear of the BMW than the front-wheel drive cars. The drivers need to fine-tune that brake bias from within the car to get maximum braking, but I'd expect him to have a little bit more grip and ability on the brakes.
So Matt Neal now in third place in the Vauxhall. Colin Turkington back down into 4th. And then behind Turkington, it's still Tom Onslow Cole now ahead of Tom Chilton. So Onslow Cole's gained a place on that last lap as well. And then it's Mike Jordan running in 7th place. Giovanardi, the championship leader, is in 8th place with Adam Jones in 9th and Stephen Jelly in 10th position.
Yeah, Stuart Oliver actually has got a 30-second penalty. I believe that was for not having the tyres on in time, but he's at the back anyway, so a lot of work for him to do. Plato, meanwhile, to give you a progress report, up to 18th.
Back with the leaders into Tower Corner, and Jackson going very deep and wide, looking for the good run out of the corner. Matt Neal, Turkington, Onslow Cole, then Chilton, then Giovanardi in the battle with Jordan. He's got past Jordan, actually. Giovanni's just gained another place, and leaders are side by side, and Jackson's through. What a great manoeuvre by Matt Jackson, and he's got the lead.
Yeah, that wide entry you talked about into Tower gave him a great slingshot out of the corner, and he was able to draw alongside and past on the way into the Jim Clark S's, the fastest part of the corner of the track at 125 miles an hour through the bend. Very brave.
Winner in the wet at Rockingham earlier this year. Matt Jackson on the form once again. He struggled a little bit at Thruxton. Oh, we've got several cars. And
that's Jelly and one of the Jordans.
Yeah, I think it's Andrew Jordan probably in there. Stephen Jelly, Andrew Jordan, who was coming from the back after problems in qualifying, and the safety car is on circuit.
Yeah, this will obviously also help Plato, of course, because it closes the gap up. In the wet, the gaps tend to increase very, very quickly, but it's going to help Plato because it'll close up.
So, dramas already in the opening stages of this first race of the day. Matt Jackson driving superbly, coming from 7th on the grid. He now leads from Shedden, Matt Neal. Now, we're just taking a look at everybody trying to get around to finish this lap. Jason Plato has moved up a few places. Let's just see where he's got up to now. 16th he is, as the safety car picks them all up and they all slow down. They race to the line, remember? And then we'll see exactly, try and have a look back at what happened here. I think, as we say, we're looking at the start of the race, on board with Jackson. That was fantastic.
Fantastic start, past both of them. He really got that hooked up, just the right combination, just in front. Now watch how brave Shedden is round the outside. Brakes a little bit later. Oh, little touch on the back of Turner, who has to go over the curb. That curb can whip the sump off if you're not careful, but he managed to clear it. Oh, and a touch there. Now that's how Jackson got past Turner. Turner won't be happy about that.
No, that's right. And then this is where Turner then ends up going straight on. Is it? Oh no, this is
a repeat of the first corner, I think.
Yeah.
From the inside. Another camera, but here's the contact. Turner goes sideways, and Jackson jumps on the power and scoots up the inside, as does Turkington.
Yeah. So Darren Turner had already been pushed down a couple of places, and then of course he went off at the next corner. It was Tower where he went straight on under braking, very similar to what Plato did on his reconnaissance lap. Now we'll try and see in the background the incidents that's caused his safety car. Bosh, Stephen Jelly slams into the barrier. Now it might be a separate incident here. Where's Andrew Jordan? He's not there yet. Still wait for another car, might be joining in here. I'm not quite sure. The race has been stopped. Red flag has come out. The race has been stopped. So
well, I hope there's not. There's clearly Jordan's car wasn't there. I just hope there's no marshals hurt in that, because the marshals were very quickly on the scene there, and the drivers were still approaching at almost race speed.
Yes, absolutely. So difficult situation in this, when visibility is so reduced in the spray. But obviously, it is a more serious incident up there. So the race has been stopped. Matt Jackson has...
Yeah, I understand that it was Andrew Jordan that slid into that the car, and one of the marshals has been hurt. Not seriously, we think, but certainly, obviously, the requirement to neutralise the race while the doctor attends to that situation. It's a very unfortunate situation for everybody, because clearly the marshals wanted to get out and help, but the rest of the pack was still approaching, and the yellow flag was out, so they should have slowed down, braked a bit earlier, but in treacherous conditions anything can happen, and the marshals supremely brave.
Absolutely. So obviously the race has been stopped as a result of that, and the cars will take their positions on the grid as a result, and what they'll have to do is restart this race, because they've completed less than 3/4 distance but more than 2 laps, so they will restart from the grid order determined by where they were when the red flag came out effectively. So that should mean that Matt Jackson will start up front. But obviously there's going to be a bit of a pause now until we're ready to get this race restarted once again. Matt Jackson there, very, very good start it was, from 7th place on the grid. And then the battle with first Darren Turner and then with Gordon Shedden. And managing to take over the advantage. Of course, he'll be hoping that he'll be able to get a good clean run off the line when they get this race restarted. Very good effort from Matt Neal too, because he was the man on the move, wasn't he, just before the flag came out there.
Well, it's strange, isn't it, Matt, because he's been absolutely fantastic in that Vectra when it's been wet.
Yeah.
You know, you think back to Rockingham, whenever the conditions have been wet, he's been really flying in that car, and I think it's a subtle balance between when the driver likes the setup of the car and doesn't like it, and certainly it changes in the wet. And Matt, clearly his driving style, he prefers prefers the balance of that vector when it is wet.
Right, let's see if we can get a little word with Matt Jackson, the man who was leading the race. This is Ben in the commentary box to Matt. Matt, well, that race was going very well from your point of view until, unfortunately, the red flag came out.
Yeah, so far so good, guys. It was it's tricky conditions out here. There's a lot of standing water out the back, and yeah, it was going well. But I think there's been a serious shunt down the down at Tower. So unfortunately, the race has been red flagged. But let's hope everybody's okay.
That was a magic start you made. You were off the line very quickly, weren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. It was it was a good start. Surprised myself, really. It sort of helped because I think Colin didn't get such a great start, which left a gap in the grid, and we could slip into that quite nicely, and it's put us in a good position for the restart. Looks like it's still raining, although it's not that heavy, so hopefully we can get a good restart and set the pace and move on forward.
Matt, it's Tim here in the comms. You were wondering what diff ratio to run yesterday. Presumably the wet weather's made your mind up to run the shorter one.
Absolutely, mate. If in doubt, wait for the weather, and I think it's the right choice now. So far, so good. Like I say, we've just got to finish this race, pick up points, and we're in probably the best position, I think, out of anyone on the grid.
Yeah, car looks to be going really well. Good luck, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Well, I'm up at race control with the series organiser Alan Gow. Alan, what's the latest situation? What can you tell us about that incident?
Well, we had two cars go off, as you see, on Tower Corner, and unfortunately a couple of marshals were injured. Not too seriously, but our main concern was extracting those, so we did a race stoppage. And obviously we'll restart the race shortly when we get the barriers fixed.
What can you tell us about the injuries?
They're quite light. They both walked into the ambulance, but I think one of them was actually initially his leg or foot was trapped underneath the car, so it required a bit of extraction. And under those circumstances, you've got to stop the race.
Well, good news that they're okay. Thanks very much, Alan.
No problem.
Well, what a day it's been already. Dramas out there, Tim, courtesy of the weather conditions, and now we're in for a second part of this race over 8 laps.
Yeah, and unfortunately, while we've been here, the weather's been getting even worse, and there's an awful lot of standing water.
Yeah, you can see it as they go through. Look at the spray and the water down there at the first corner. That really is going to be very, very difficult. Quite different to when they were running in the first part of this race. So this is how they line up then, with Gordon Shedden on pole position. Matt Jackson, who had taken the lead, but now he starts second, so he's going to have to do it again. Matt Neal and Colin Turkington on the second row. Turkington will be looking for a better start. Then Onslow Cole and Chilton on row 3. Jordan and Giovanardi. Giovanardi gaining places from qualifying 12th originally. Adam Jones and Harry Volkard behind him. Volkard going well. Collard and Kane next up on row 6. Then Hughes and Doyle. Andrew Jordan, well, I don't know if he's going to be back out in this race after that incident earlier. Then Chris Stockton. Jason Plato back on row 9, but remember, he started from the pits originally. Erkut alongside him on that 9th row. 10th row should be where Turner starts, then Martin Bell and John George. So that's how they line up for this second part of the race, but it'll basically be a race to the flag now. They've started in the order that they were in a lap before the red flag came out, and now effectively it's a new race on that order, and whoever crosses the line first will be the winner.
Absolutely, and watch out again, obviously, for the start. Matt Jackson made a fantastic start the last one. They obviously softened the suspension off a fair bit for these conditions, and he had really good traction off the line, but he's somewhat miffed at being put back to second, clearly because he was in front when the red flag come out, but they always count back a lap, and he'll have to make another stellar start and get round Shedden.
Right, so both Jordans are on the grid. In fact, apparently it was Alan Taylor who went off in that accident with Stephen Jelly. So Alan Taylor who went off, and not Andrew Jordan. So we've got Mike Jordan and Andrew Jordan both on the grid. Andrew had problems in qualifying yesterday, so had to start right from the back. But let's see what's happening up front now. It is Gordon Shedden and Matt Jackson who lead them round, and Jackson, who shadowed Shedden in the early laps and then was able to nip past him, but he's got the advantage this time of trying to go straight off the line. He made such a beautiful getaway in that first start. He's just got to try and repeat that. The rest of the field making their way round the slowest corner on the British Touring Car calendar. There is Andy Jordan, in fact, with the yellow door mirrors, and then the other cars coming through. There's Jason Plato and then Darren Turner. So the Seats are the big losers effectively from qualifying. They qualified first and third, and now they're 17th and 19th on the grid. So a lot of work to be done by the two Seat drivers, but everybody else into position here now, and it is Gordon Shedden lining up on that pole position with Matt Jackson looking to make a rapid start from second place. He's in the white and black BMW. What can he do from there? But watch also for Matt Neal, starting from third place and a lover of these wet conditions with the Vauxhall Vectra. Here we go for the second time of asking, round 13 of the championship. Gets underway, and again it's Jackson who makes a lightning getaway. Absolutely breathtaking stuff from Matt Jackson, who surges into the lead, and is Turkington challenging for second place as they come down towards the first corner. But watch the puddles here. The puddles are a lot worse than they were. Look at Shedden sliding through the puddle, but makes it round the corner.
Well, Jackson, a fantastic getaway, but he could hardly keep the car in a straight line on the run down to Clervaux, the first corner. Such was the standing water, but he's absolutely streaked away.
Absolutely brilliant start once again from the youngster Matt Jackson, winner at Rockingham earlier this year, and trying to make it 2 victories. But oh, look at that, even in the straight he was sliding the back end of the car all over the place. Oh, and he's won by Jackson's off from the lead, the first one to try the conditions, and he's fallen at that hurdle at Tower Corner.
He's not the only one. Shedden off, one of the Vauxhalls off as well.
I think it might, is it Onslow Cole or Giovanardi? Couldn't quite spot. It wasn't Matt Neal. Matt Neal did make it round okay, I'm sure. And, well, all change again. Gordon Shedden now, I think it is, leading this race with Turkington up there. But where is Matt Neal? We need to keep an eye out on where Matt Neal has got to. Shedden, though, race leader, trying to splash his way through the puddles. Turkington in the Team RAC car in second place.
Yeah, well, poor old Matt Jackson, I mean, perhaps a victim of his own impetuosity there, because he clearly had the best car underneath him, and he had a huge lead on the run down to Tower, but the standing water there simply atrocious, and just caught him out as the first car there. But he really needed to be a little bit more prudent, perhaps, on that first lap.
Well, here we come up to the hairpin. Oh, Shedden's run very, very, very wide. Out of the lead, loses second place, and it's Colin Turkington who leads, but the safety car is going to pick them up. They do race to the line, though, so Turkington will now lead behind the safety car. What a chaotic first lap, but purely because of the changing conditions here.
Yeah, the conditions are a lot worse than when they were racing in the first part of the race, and drivers trying to use the same braking points as they had then. There's Chilton off at the gravel, same point. And, well, cool glasses or not, it's not going to help him now, but it's a replay. Look how Jackson's car just launches off the line, absolutely fantastic. But then he's hitting puddles all the way down to the first corner, which should have been an indicator to him to be careful. He's got a huge lead, and by the time they get round this corner, look, he's already on the limit there. On the limit, he just can't physically slow the car down. Just runs out of road. He's trying to modulate the braking, get the car slowed down. Fortunately, he's kept it going and he's rejoined a long way back, but he is still in this race.
Yeah, he's rejoined in 18th place, actually. He was so slow. That was Onslow Cole, by the way, who went off. Yeah. This was Tom Chilton going off at the same time. That was the onboard view from Tom Chilton. But it was Tom Onslow Cole in the Vauxhall who sort of skirted around the outside. Then Shedden made this mistake at the hairpin.
Yeah, again, a lot of standing water, and he was defending the inside, perhaps where there's a little bit more water there, and just, again, locked up and ran wide.
No, actually, Jackson, you know, he's not that far down the line there.
That's a motor-based car.
Ah, right, OK, yes, you're right. It was a motor-based car. That's Stephen Kane. No, Collard. Collard is running 5th.
Jackson actually came across the line in 18th place.
Yeah, so he did lose a lot. He did lose a lot. So Matt Jackson, oh, what does he feel at the moment? You're riding on board with Matt Jackson, who was leading the race, and now suddenly all the way down there in 18th position. Now, we've got the onboard radio with him. We'll try and have a word. It's not going to be... Well, hang on, no, he's talking to the pits. He's talking to the pits. Busy getting some information. You just see his thumb on the button there to the team, so he's still chatting away. We'll give him a second or two. It might be, if the safety car stays out a bit longer, we might get a chance to talk to him, but let's let him speak to the pits first. He's coming around the latter part of the lap, but the safety car has stayed out there. Just seeing, there's the BMW there, right in the middle of shot. That is Matt Jackson, so that's where he is now, with Tom Onslow Cole right behind him, the 2 cars that went off at Tower. So, across the line they come, behind safety car, and Turkington leading the race.
Well, in this topsy-turvy, there's disappointed Chilton getting out. Sort of, he looks as sheepish almost as he did that in those early years at Mondello when he went off with... but throughout all this topsy-turvy race, Plato, of course, started from the pit lane, has actually now moved himself up to 12th with the benefit of the retirements and the stoppage and the safety cars. There he is.
Yeah, so that's worked quite well from Plato's point of view. Up to 12th, not quite in the points yet, but his big rival, of course, Maurizio Giovanardi, has gone well in this too, because he started 12th, did Giovanardi, and now he's up to 4th behind safety car. So the Italian is once again showing his sheer class and abilities in all conditions, it would appear. Up to 4th place from 12th on the grid.
Yeah, the petrol engine Leon was a very good car in the wet, really handled well, but the heavier diesel car not quite working so well. This was on board with Chilton. See how few revs he uses just not to spin the wheels up. He actually gets quite a good run down, covers the inside, can't see a thing. He knows where the corner is roughly. He's driving off out the side winner through the lake at Clervaux and through the chicane, then trying to pick the power up here. Watch how unsighted he is through the chicane. He'll come through the chicane, bearing in mind that there's piles of tyres on either side. Through there, very, very deep. He nearly runs off the road because he can't see. Now he's in the spray. He can't see the standing water. He's got his foot flat down. He's trying. Look, he lifted off and then accelerated again. Brakes here, locks up, and then it's history.
So difficult. That's it. All the way off into the gravel. And off he goes. And look what this means. The red flag has come out again. Well, I haven't seen this for a long time in British touring cars. We've had 2 red flags in the one race. Well, it is round 13 of the championship, and I'm afraid it has not worked out very well. We've only done 2 laps, one of those on this second part of the race behind safety car. We did 4 laps in the first part of the race. Quite what they'll decide to do in terms of a result, I do not know, and how many points they'll award is another big question, but it's the puddles, Tim, that have really caused them to stop this race.
Yeah, it's obviously been deemed by the clerk of the course as too dangerous to race, and I think I have to agree with his call on this one. We need to wait for the water to disperse a little bit, but of course, as you say, the final finishing order, I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Well, Turkington is shown on our timing screens as the winner for Team RAC, ahead of Matt Neal for Vauxhall and Shedden in the Team Halfords car. But if that's the way they are given it, that's how they've lined up, interestingly, down there at scrutineering as well. So perhaps that's how they'll be given it, but whether it'll be full points or not, that'll be a question to be decided later. But it certainly looks as though that's the top 3, with Giovanardi 4th, Collard in 5th and Jordan in 6th. Let's just take a look back at Matt Jackson's view of that moment when he went off, Tim.
Yeah, this is looking out the back, and Matt frantically trying to slow the car down. He was in trouble. There is a little crest in the road there just before the braking area, which makes the cars go light, which adds to the complexity of trying to brake, because as you go on the pedal, on the brake pedal, the car actually goes light and you've got less weight on the tyres. And it was probably about that point that his car snapped sideways initially, which meant he had to come off the brakes and then go back on them, and he just gradually ran out of available tarmac.
Well, it's Colin Turkington, it appears, who has won this race, but it's been a doubly interrupted race and a very strange start to the day. Turkington from Neal and Shedden, Giovanardi up to 4th, and well, he certainly may have saved his championship advantage there, ahead of Collard, Jordan, Stephen Cade, Adam Jones, Michael Doyle scoring his first ever points in British touring cars, if they all get points for this, and Andrew Jordan from the back in 10th place.
Thank you very much, Ben. Yes, as I say, I mean, the clerk of the course at the moment still saying that it is too wet and too dangerous to race. The first thing to say is that those marshals are okay. Walking wounded, both of them, and they're both being treated at the medical centre. But as soon as we get some more details on their condition and exactly what's been hurt, but as we understand they're only minor injuries to them, we'll let you know. On the point situation, as they said in the commentary, it does seem that Turkington, Neal and Shedden are the top 3, and they're just trying to go through the rule books to find out whether that's half points or no points at all, or whether points are indeed awarded on the results of qualifying. Right, we will get all the action. We'll hear from the top 3 in a few minutes with Louise, so join us in a few minutes' time. Welcome back to Croft, where the rain is easing up, but only very slightly. Colin Turkington has won the first British touring car race of the day, And this is the series organiser Alan Gow inspecting the circuit. The problem is that we've raced here for Croft for many years, but this is the first wet race we've had here for a very long time, and there are patches of standing water all over the place, and at the moment it's not safe enough to race. Well, that was a little earlier. Let's see what Alan Gow has to say. He's down in the pits with Louise Goodman.
Well, back down with Alan Gow. Just talk us through a decision to halt that last race.
It's clearly too dangerous out there. So on the grounds of safety, which is obviously the paramount thing, we had to stop it. It's just too dangerous to carry on.
Now, you've just literally the second got back from taking a drive around the track yourself. What are the conditions like out there? What did you find?
Well, even in a very heavy four-wheel drive KN, they're not great. And at the moment, it's just too wet. And there's too much standing water. There's rivers running across the track. It's just too dangerous to carry on at the moment.
So what's the situation? How is this going to affect the programme for the rest of the day?
Well, it's obviously going to affect the timetable. We're going to have to push it back a bit, but we're not giving up hope. We're going to take it as it comes, and there's sweepers out there, there's workers out there channeling water away. We're going to get it underway as soon as we can.
So really just keeping a watching brief, seeing when the conditions improve?
Fingers crossed, and hope that the northern weather turns in our favour.
Thanks very much, Alan.
Cheers.
Well, the northern weather, some hope, although I think it's this weather more or less all over the UK here. Sunday the 1st of June, who would have thought? Okay, well, I mean, just looking at the races coming up, the tin tops should be okay in this weather, and the Seat Cupras were meant to be the next series on the track. But then as soon as you get to the single-seaters and the Formula Renaults, then that really will be a big ask for those guys to get round here safely. Okay, let's join Louise in the pits, who's got the top three.
Well, the man with everything to smile about at the moment, the winner of race one, Colin Turkington. It was just all about keeping it on the road today, wasn't it?
It really was. You know, I can't believe, I won the race. I was just sort of sitting around third, fourth place there, but the conditions are so bad. You know, I've never raced in conditions like this before, and it's hard to even commit to full throttle on the straight because of wheel spin. But the biggest issue is you get to a corner and there's just like a pool of water, and there's absolutely no grip, no heat in the tyres, no heat in the brakes. So it really is a tiptoe job. So yeah, I'm delighted. I'll take that win.
Just tell us about how you took the lead there.
Really, I got a good start off the line. I didn't get such a good one the first time, but the second time I got in behind Matt Jackson, and I thought before the restart he was going a bit fast for the conditions, so I thought, just stay on the track and you've got a good chance. And luckily the two guys in front went off and I just tiddled around, so I can't believe it.
Well, congratulations, a very happy man. Let's have a word with the man who finished just behind you, Matt Neal. Matt, tell us about the conditions out there. Really tricky for everybody, wasn't it?
It was tough, one because of the spray, because of the amount of water on the track, and then two, the standing water itself, so there was a lot of aquaplaning. I mean, it was tough at the front, when you could half see it, never mind back in the pack. So it was, it's a shame though. I thought we had a car which we could win it. The Vectra eats those conditions, but it wasn't to be this time. 2
red flags, obviously the race ended before its scheduled amount of laps. The right decision?
I don't know, I wanted it to go on because I felt I was in a strong car, but we've had a marshal injured and I hope he's okay. You just got to think about him and everything, and so it was really tough conditions, so it was on the edge stuff.
Well done to you, and let's have a quick word with that third place man. You've got to be one of the luckiest men around, because I mean, you just a last minute gasp in qualifying yesterday, and you've ended up on the podium today. Just talk us through yesterday, first of all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, managed to put it on the front row with a last minute lap in qualifying. It was great, but to be honest, really disappointed out there. I think personally, when we stopped the race for the first time, that should have been it stopped. I mean, we couldn't even commit to full power and going in a straight line, and there's that much standing water out there. I think it was very tricky to say the least.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Okay, thanks Lou. I'm sorry about the hands in pockets, but it's absolutely freezing down here. I've been joined by commentators Ben Edwards and Tim Harvey. Ben, I want to say first of all about the marshals. Glad to hear it's only minor injuries, because that could have been really nasty.
Absolutely right, yes. I mean, those guys give up their time to volunteer in motorsport, and without them, motorsport wouldn't really happen. So we're always incredibly concerned if anything happens involving a marshal. And it was a local driver, Alan Taylor, who went off, the sort of second car off. But I mean, as we saw, those conditions were virtually impossible. And it's just great news that the marshal's not badly hurt in any way.
It's difficult to know what to do if you're a marshal, because a guy goes off and your first instinct is to go onto the track to rescue the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that perhaps we need to look at, because as we saw the onboard from Tom Chilton approaching that corner when he went off, he absolutely couldn't see a thing. He actually backed off on the straight at one point because he was unsure where he was. By the time he arrived at the corner in the standing water, he would have had no chance to have seen any flag signals, even if he could have done, and therefore no time to adjust his speed or act accordingly. So the marshals were extremely brave to jump out in front of oncoming traffic. I would suggest maybe we need to consult more, so they perhaps stay in their posts until the cars have passed. But a terrible accident could have happened.
Yeah, well, that's maybe something for the future, is that they stay behind the barriers maybe until the guys, especially in weather like this. But it was absolutely impossible to continue the race and finish it.
Well, that's the thing. After that break, of course, the rain just came down more heavily, didn't it? The first part of the race, actually, conditions were manageable. But the second part, when they all tried to go off again, and we just saw the puddle down there at the first corner, on the back straight, they were sliding and aquaplaning even in a straight line. I mean, it was just almost impossible. I've just spoken to Mike Jordan a second ago. He said the same thing. He said they could barely keep up with the safety car, let alone when they were released to race,
We've had weather like this before. Rockingham was pretty bad. Better drainage there. The Croft, North Yorkshire, very sunny place. Not used to rain like this.
Yes, t-shirts and shorts yesterday, and Indiana Jones hats today. So it's everything goes up here in the northeast. But I mean, this circuit has got a lot of different tarmacs. It's got a lot of different cambers. It's got a lot of different drainage. I mean, Rockingham did drain particularly well, I have to say. But it's very difficult where you have standing water and big differences in levels of standing water, because as we saw, the cars could hardly drive on the straight, and it's just each peculiarities of each circuit.
Okay, and very briefly, we know what the 1-2 is, Turkington and Neal, but will they get the points for that?
At the moment, the organisers, TOCA, are still not even sure that enough race laps, actual race laps, have been given to allocate any points at all. So we could find that this whole race was null and void.
Okay, well, I certainly hope not, because it might be the only racing we get today. Stay there, boys, because there's certainly nothing happening out on the track. Louise is down in the pits with the SEAT boys.
Well, I'm down at the SEAT garage now. Those horrendous conditions we saw in the first race, in fact, the first casualty of day, Jason Plato, you were going off before you even got to the grid, weren't you?
Yeah, we had, I have to say, my error, well, in fact, everyone's error. We're running development brake pads at the moment, and it's our preferred choice in the dry, and we just didn't consider that they might not work in the wet. And I found myself on the warm-up lap, not going very fast with no rear brakes, because they need temperature to work, and very grabby front. So I sailed off into the gravel. And then, that exact same scenario caught Darren out a few laps later. So, a bit of an own goal we scored today, but, that's what happens when you develop a car during the season. Nothing we can do, we just got to be positive, change the brake pads for a different compound, and crack on.
And I guess, you need to, on that formation lap, that's all about finding what the conditions are like, testing the limits, isn't it?
It is to a certain extent. I mean, one of the things you've got to try and find out when the conditions like that is where the standing water is. And, in modern racing cars, they're very stiff. The tyres don't have very big grooves in them. And if you hit puddles and standing water, it's often a recipe for disaster. So we've got to try and find where those are. And that's actually what caught me out. I hit some standing water just as I got on the brakes. Everything locked up and off I was.
Well done to the guys to get everything cleared up and get you back on the grid.
Absolutely. The most important thing, in those sorts of situations is try and remain calm and let all the guys, the engineers, the mechanics, take control of the situation and turn it into a military operation. There's a lot to do, a lot to think about, and it's very easy in those situations for them to make mistakes and miss something. And I have to say they did a great job and got us back out there.
Well, let's have a word with Darren Turner on pole for that race. But what was it like as leading away from the start?
I thought I did a good start, and then I saw Gordon alongside me, and had a bit more momentum going into turn one. So, in these conditions, it's all about just staying on the circuit. So I was quite happy that, well, not totally happy, but I was okay. Gordon's got the jump on me into turn one. I'll sit behind him for a few laps and then try and make a pass later on once you understand the circuit and everything. But just as I'm turning into turn one, I think Matt Jackson came in quite hard. I got a bit of a tap from him, which was okay. I mean, it didn't lose me a position or anything. But at turn two, again, I think I got hit again, and it just put me a bit wide. Dropped a few places because of this. And then we get to Tower, turn 5, and same thing as what obviously caught Jason out earlier, and just got on the brakes, locked up, and very lucky not to hit the back of Colin Turkington in the BMW. So it's just a little bit unfortunate. We've learnt that these brake pads are great in the dry, but we need to go back to sort of the tried and tested stuff that we've used in the wet before, just to make sure we don't get caught out again.
Was it pure coincidence that it was the same corner that you both went off at? Was it the standing water at that corner that caused the issue?
Well, I think Jason went off at turn 1, I was at turn 5, so I mean, but they're very similar corners. You know, there's a lot of standing water around the whole of the circuit, and you know, it's like you say, when we're out on the green flag lap, we're looking for the puddles to try and work out where not to go. But they were just getting deeper and deeper. Each lap, it was a different circuit completely.
The race eventually red flagged and cut short. The correct decision, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we got the restart again. It was even hard just to accelerate through the gears, you know, aquaplaning, the wheel spinning, even in 4th and 5th gear, you couldn't put full throttle down. So when it gets to that conditions, it's just a lottery. So it's the correct decision.
Thanks, Darren.
Cheers.
Okay, thanks, Lou. Yes, the correct decision. And I guess they'll be hoping that no points are awarded at all, will SEAT, because it was an absolute nightmare for them.
Well, a disaster. I mean, starting 1st and 3rd on the grid with Giovanardi starting 12th, it was a huge opportunity to close up that 18-point gap that Giovanardi had going into the race. So, as you say, they'll be hoping that no points are awarded at all. It can be scrubbed from the record books and they can start all over again.
It could affect their championship if points are awarded. I mean, was that just a driving mistake by Plato on the sighting lap?
Well, it was a mistake, but you know, those conditions. I mean, you know, Tim's driven these front-wheel drive cars so much in the rain. Tim, it's not easy, is it, in those conditions?
No, and I think the SEAT guys face a particular problem. That the engine is so quiet that they can't hear the revs when they're changing down the gearbox, and that's
really?
It's a significant thing, because in a front-wheel drive car, if you lock the brakes up, the engine is immediately stalled, and they're very high compression, so it won't actually roll again and start turning over. So not being able to hear the engine is quite a difficult thing. They need to change down with the clutch on a front wheel drive car. In the wet, this is. In the dry, they just bang it down the gearbox and it's no problem, but there's so little friction from the tyres and the track that it can lock the engine up, and then they just go straight on.
And what about what Darren was saying about the brakes? I mean, everyone knows in wet weather you don't get the temperature into the brakes, so you need to change pads, discs, probably calipers as well.
Well, the discs are fixed. The pads actually is nearly fixed, but there's a little bit of variation, but it's more about getting the bias, the brake bias. You can adjust on a knob inside the car how much pressure goes to the front brakes and the rear brakes, and it's surprising how much you have to wind it to the back in the wet, because in the dry, sort of 75%, nearly 80% of the whole braking efficiency on a front wheel drive car is done by the front, but in the wet it's nearer 50-50, so it's an awful lot of winding to the back that they need to do.
Okay, Tim, thank you very much for the moment. Well, we've got a big crowd, amazingly. I didn't think they'd come out, but North Yorkshire has done us proud, and there are a lot of people here at Croft hiding under tents and umbrellas. Hardy souls, all of them, and we hope to reward them with a little racing later, but no sign at the moment of that happening at all. Join us in a few moments. Welcome back to Croft, where the weather conditions happily are improving. We had a big break earlier after the first touring car race was black flagged, where we had absolutely nothing at all. But since then, the SEAT Cooper is out and they've been drying the track out as much as they can. But let's get an update as to the latest running. Louise is down in the pits with the series organiser.
Well, we're down on the grid with Alan Gow. Conditions are brightening up enormously, aren't they?
A lot better than they were before, absolutely. And we just had a SEAT Cooper race, and they went through it no problems. And the marshals have done a fantastic job in clearing all the water away. And hopefully, if it doesn't get any worse, we'll be fine for the rest of the afternoon.
Today is a day when the marshals really, well, I'm going to say earn their money, but they don't get paid any, do they?
Well, they don't earn their money, no, but they did a fantastic job. I mean, they're out there in conditions that we wouldn't want to be standing out there, and shoveling away, digging ditches, clearing water, fantastic job. And obviously without them, we wouldn't be able to run this race.
Now, we've just seen the SEAT Cooper guys out there. Were you happy with the job that they did, bearing in mind the conditions?
Yeah, we were keeping an eye on them, obviously, to make sure that the track conditions, and it's just wet now. It's not, there's no running water, there's no standing water, it's just wet. It's perfectly fine.
You're kind of, or did you send them out there as guinea pigs really to see what the situation was with the track?
Oh, that's a bit unfair. But
well, I say guinea pigs. I mean, it's better to send a tin top guy out than it is to send one of the single-seaters out. Is that right?
They're very similar to our cars anyway, as far as the size of the tyres and the weight of the car and the speed of the cars. So it was appropriate we send them out.
Thanks very much, Alan.
Thanks, Lou. Don't know what's wrong with being a guinea pig. Worked for Heikki Kovalainen in Monaco, so it should be all right for the SEAT Cooper guys. Right, well, Colin Turkington won the first race of the day and so starts on pole position for this race. But with 45 kilos success ballast on board, of course, he is bound to be very heavy and will be lucky to keep that lead. The grid is there, so is Louise.
Down on the grid with Adam Jones, 8th on the grid for this race, but currently leading the independents. It's going pretty well for you this season, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had a good season up until now, so things have gone quite well for us, but obviously today is another day, it's another race, and we need to try and come back in the lead if we can.
Tell us about the conditions out there. You've just on your lap to the grid. What did you find out there? How much standing water?
Oh, it's light and day difference as it was before. The first start that we originally had was wet, just like any other race, which was fine. But when we had the restart, it was just undrivable. But at the moment, the circuit's, I think you'll find that there'll be a dry line by the end of it for sure.
So you'll be able to just put the pedal to the metal and go for it?
Yeah, we'll go for it straight away. I mean, it's the best conditions we've had all day. So obviously visibility is going to be the biggest thing. That's going to be it's a massive improvement already as it was earlier. So just get our head down, try and stay out of trouble.
Okay, well, we wish you the best of luck. Let's go and have a word with the guy who's next door to you on the grid, Stephen Kane. It's his first year in the British Touring Car Championship. Stephen, you raced here last year in the Porsches, though, didn't you? Finished second in that race. Slightly different car this time round.
Very different car. These cars you can race a lot closer, and it's a lot more hustle and bustle, and there's a lot more accidents. But it's a lot more enjoyable, really. It's great. Hopefully we'll get a good start. The BMs are renowned for a good start, and so hopefully I can get a better start this time and get up through it.
You've just had a look at the conditions as well. Adam says they're looking not too bad out there. What do you think?
A lot better, actually. Hopefully it'll stay like this. If it gets any drier, it might be bad for us in the BMs, because I don't like the in-between conditions. So fingers crossed it'll stay wet enough. It's good at the minute. If it stays like this, it'll be good for us.
So you'd actually like it to start raining again, would you?
We'd like it to start raining again, yeah.
Get away. No, I'm not with you on that one, I'm afraid. We wish you the best of luck. Now, I've got to go and have a word with Mike Jordan to ask him what on earth is going on with this grid board. Mike, there's got to be a story here, and I understand this has something to do with Alan Gow, as do all dodgy things going on in the British Touring Car Championship. Tell me about it.
It's yes, it's all down to Alan, my very, very good friend. We got some interesting emails after the last couple of races. I don't know if it's our TV programme or whatever, and I was just sort of a bit bored one day, and I bounced them onto Alan, and he found a couple of them quite amusing, and it just seems to have developed from that. And I don't know if he's trying to give me a bit of a message, because he came over yesterday and he came skipping across the paddock, I think he was humming YMCA or something, and gave me pink stickers for my window. And now I've arrived with this, and the really worrying thing is that I think that was a little party number he was wearing last night.
Well, do you know what? What all of this says to me is one of the great things about the British Touring Car Championship is the camaraderie and the fun that you all have.
Yeah, I did say to him, it's a good job there's somebody on the grid that he can take the mickey out of all the time, because he's certainly doing a good job with me, but I take it in good part. And no, I did think when he put the pink names on my window, yeah, here we are, we're at the pinnacle. I've worked for 30 years, we're at the pinnacle of British motorsport, and here you've got the supremo of it all, sticking pink stickers on your car. But hey, it's one of those things.
How are you going to get him back?
Oh, this will run and run all year long. Do trust me, you don't see the half of it with some of the emails. So no, this is just the beginning.
We will be keeping a watching brief on it. Now, let's have a little trot up the grid. Let's see if we can have another word with Fabrizio Giovanardi, who hopefully has taken those sunglasses off now. Fabrizio. No sunglasses this time. Let's shove my microphone in and have a word with him, though. Fabrizio, what are your thoughts going into this race? You talked about experience helping. You're going to be bringing that experience to the fore now.
Yeah, it's difficult to compare as before. Before was very heavy rain. Now it's coming quite dry, so I think we have to be careful to save the tires to finish all the race. So it will be completely different.
So can you just go for it, or do you have to really feel your way in and see what the conditions like as you go around?
I think after the first lap we will understand how much the tire can go until the end. So if we slowing down, we have no rush to overtake all the driver. I think in the end could make difference in the tires.
So what's your strategy at the start here?
Pass first. easy answer. No, I have to be careful to my teammate anyway. We have to work together, and then we'll see.
OK, Fabrizio, well, thanks very much for talking to us. We're just about ready for the race to get underway, so let's go over to our commentators, Ben and Tim.
Thank you very much, Louise. And as you can see, Tim is all ready for the next race, actually, which will be the Porsche race. Tim, you have to get ready because it'll be a bit of a dash to get in your car, won't it?
Yes, forgive me if I'm not here for the last lap of touring cars, but I'll be off down to sample the conditions for myself.
Well, we've got an interesting race in prospect here, and particularly if you look down towards the back of the grid, because people like Tom Onslow Cole, for example, down towards the back. Matt Jackson, who looked to be set for a victory earlier on today, he starts down towards the back as well. Tom Chilton, we can just see the back of his car there. So some quick guys starting from the rear of this grid. Yeah, and it's the conditions are drying very, very quickly. It's still quite humid here up in the northeast. The standing water, as you can see, has gone, and Fabrizio Giovanardi alluded to the fact they will have to preserve the tyres a little bit as they go towards the end. So people will have gone for a mixed bag of settings on the cars, sort of half wet, half dry, and the speed of the cars could change drastically during the course of the race. Well, Colin Turkington will start from pole, courtesy of the win earlier on, his second win of 2008, backing up the win he had here last year. So he starts on pole, but now with ballast. And alongside him, Matt Neal, very fast in this Vauxhall in wet conditions. On the second row, we've got Gordon Shedden and Fabrizio Giovanardi, who we heard from a moment ago. Watch out for Shedden as well, because he's shown great pace already this weekend. Now, Rob Collard starts on the third row of the grid. Matches Motorbase's best ever performance with fifth earlier on. Mike Jordan is right alongside him, so watch out for him. He can be very quick here at Croft. Next up it's Stephen Kane, and alongside him is Adam Jones, who still leads the independent points table, by the way. Cars are just moving away on their formation lap. Michael Doyle scoring points for the first time in touring cars. The youngster from Scotland in his first season, he starts in 9th place. Andrew Jordan, who came from the very back of the grid, he lines up 10th. He's raced here a lot in rallycross at Croft, so let's see what he can do from there. Next up it's Chris Stockton and Jason Plato. Plato starting in 12th place. A lot of work for Seat here. Behind them we've got Harry Volkard and we've got Jason Hughes as well in the team KWR MG. The next Seat is then back on row 8. There's Darren Turner with Aircut alongside in the Astra. Behind them we've got John George and then Matt Jackson. So Jackson's really going to need one of his meteoric starts from 18th on the grid. Tom Onslow Cole's back there as well. A lot of work to do in the Vauxhall. Martin Bell is with him. Behind them we've got the truck racer Stuart Oliver with Tom Chilton back there after his off in that first race. And at the back of the grid, Stephen Jelly's repaired car. The Team RAC team be working flat out to get that car back out. And Alan Taylor, hopefully, if they've got that car repaired. That car was also involved. I don't think it has made it out, actually. I think Alan Taylor's going to have to sit this one out and not take part in the second race. Take a look at the conditions. Tim, what's your assessment? Well, obviously still some water there, but it's not rivers of water and puddles of water or even lakes of water. We've just got a wet track all over there, you see, on board with Giovanardi. The visibility not too bad either at this stage either, even some dry-ish patches. But this circuit is renowned for a lot of different tarmacs. Some of it's been resurfaced over the years, so the grip levels really do vary around the whole circuit. Yeah, and it's a varied track in terms of types of corner too, isn't it? You've got some real fast, committed stuff, and then this section, for example, it's all about patience, isn't it? And just treading lightly. Yeah, there's many an excellent lap at Croft been ruined by this last sequence of corners where overdriving, braking too late, making a small mistake can ruin the lap time. So it's both a good opportunity to pass, particularly into this last hairpin, but it's also an opportunity to mess up the lap. So it is Turkington and Matt Neal on the front row of the grid. Matt Neal, of course, double BTCC champion, and now with Vauxhall once again, returned to the Vauxhall team. He's had that one race victory in the wet at Rockingham earlier on this year, and he certainly feels the car is very good in these changeable conditions. But on the second row, Shedden and Giovanardi, then Collard and Mike Jordan. Watch for Rob Collard's start. He's pretty good off the line. He's in a rear-wheel drive BMW, and he's starting in his best grid position of the year so far on the third row of the grid. So keep an eye on that. And he's the white BMW back on row 3. Rob Collard, will keep an eye on him. Matt Jackson, of course, coming all the way from 18th on the grid. A lot of work for him to do. So who's it going to be to take the second victory of the day? Let's hope we get a clean run right through to the checkered flag. 15 laps we're due to see here. Colin Turkington starting from pole position. Well, he repeated his victory from 12 months ago in race 1. Let's see if he can do it again in race 2 here at Croft. It's round 14 of the High Q
British Touring Car Championship. Away we go, and it's a very even start. Up front, Collard does indeed make a good start in a motor-based BMW, but it looked to me as though it was Poleman and Turkington who got away. Yes, it is. The battle is for second place as Shedden just trying to squeeze past Matt Neal, and he's done it. Matt Neal is pushed back down to third. Rob Collard in a fast-starting fourth place in the BMW.
Yeah, it's all cleanly through. Fortunately, the first part, one of the cars out wide on the approach to the chicane, but Shedden, perfect getaway.
Yeah, good for him. I think that was Michael Doyle a little bit wide. Of course, he's now running with some faster cars than he would normally run with. Now, this is the corner that caught so many out earlier on. Tower Bend. Into it goes Turkington. He went off there last year on oil in race 2. Well, he's got through it safely this time. And in the middle of the pack, you can see the two Seats trying to make up ground. Onslow Cole also as well, trying to pick up some places on this opening lap.
Yeah, Matt Jackson, of course, trying to fight his way through. He made another good start further back on the field. Oh, some of the cars went sideways there. That was Jordan getting out off the tarmac. Another one as well. Oh, John George sideways.
Surely, has he held that? Where is he? There he is. John George lost it. We thought he might have done one way, then the other, right in the middle of the track, and somehow they've all missed him. Fantastic.
Well, seriously delayed everyone behind him because they just didn't know where the car was going to go. That was one of the longest spins I've ever seen. Went on for ages.
Well, there's Turkington, race leader for Team RAC. Then the Team Halford's car of Gordon Shedden in second place, defending busily from Matt Neal, who loves the jink up the inside into the hairpin, but he doesn't go for it this time. Then it's Rob Collard. He's chased by series leader Fabrizio Giovanardi. Then there's a little gap back to Stephen Kane in the second of the motor-based cars. And then he's being chased quite hard at the moment as they go across the line by Mike Jordan. Behind Jordan is Adam Jones. Then Michael Doyle still up there in the top 10. Andrew Jordan in 10th. Plato is 11th. Onslow Cole's got up to 13th on that first lap.
Yeah, Collard in the motor-based car, the lead motor-based car in 4th. He's a really good driver in the wet. He did Porsches for a while last year, struggled with the car all year, but in the one wet practice session we had, he was absolutely ballistic. And Rob has a lot of fans out there still in the touring car land, and this is the best performance so far at the moment for the motor-based team. Their car's running 4th for Collard and 6th for Kane.
Yeah, but we're on board Giovanardi. He's right with Collard, and these two had a clash here a couple of years ago, I seem to remember, Collard and Giovanardi. Let's hope it stays clean between them. As you say, Collard will be definitely hoping to hold on to 4th. It would be Motorbase's best ever finish. Giovanardi in the puddle on the way out of Barcroft, there, or out of the S's through Barcroft, and now into Sunny Inn, the two right-handers that will lead them back towards our area, the start-finish area. Oh, and I think Michael Doyle's been off. Let's just take a look. The little Honda Civic there, straight on onto the grass, and no chance.
Yeah, just managed to get the car turned a little bit, but he's going to have a radiator full of grass, so that will be a visit to the pits or he'll overheat.
Absolutely. Well, Turkington managing to ease away a little bit up front from Shedden in second, still under pressure from Matt Neal in the red and white Vauxhall. Then Collard in the white and red BMW. Giovanardi chases, and then it's Stephen Kane right behind him. Not much change between these front runners on this next lap, so that's 2 laps completed. We go on to lap 3 out of 15. Windscreen wipers working busily, but no evidence of anybody steaming up inside. So hopefully they've got reasonable visibility. And in fact, Turkington up front's able to run without the wipers running.
Yeah, the guys use a Rain-X film on the windscreen, which is a fluid, it's a water repellent. It beads the water up like a wax shampoo would do, and the water just runs off the screen really quickly. It's actually more efficient than having the wipers on.
Well, it's working for Turkington. He's got clear air and he's opening up a lead. Here comes Matt Neal on the attack, trying to get down the inside of Gordon Shedden. He will not be denied. And these two former teammates, they made contact into the wall. Goes Shedden. What a shame. It looked as though that was just going to be a straightforward pass. It ended in tears for Shedden.
Well, I think Matt was trying really hard, actually, to hold that car on the inside and not hit his family team's car of Shedden. The safety car is out, but they will race back to the start-finish line. But of course, Matt Neal's father runs the team that Shedden drives for, and well, there could be some harsh words over dinner tonight.
That is awkward, isn't it? Safety car on track, as you say. Shedden has got the car running. I'm amazed because it seemed to hit the wall pretty hard, hit the tyre. Look at the poor old wipers, nowhere near the windscreen, but they're still going. Turkington leads the race. They're all still racing to the line, remember. If you can nip past somebody here, you can hold that position, and you can see Stephen Kane trying to go around the outside of Fabrizio Giovanardi. It's not going to happen for them, and they will all have to back off as they come across the line, and they are picked up behind safety car. But actually, the reason for bringing the safety car out
has now disappeared because Shedden's got going.
Yeah, he actually got going, and I think he pulled off. This is on board with Chilton coming across the start-finish line with Turner with his rear windscreen wiper going. I don't see many of those in touring cars. But Shedden has actually pulled the car off, I think, on the infield off the track. I think I saw him pulling through the cutout, so I wouldn't expect the safety car to stay out much longer.
Let's take a look at that accident once again here. Tim, talk us through it.
Yeah, Matt Neal goes to the inside. Shedden sees it coming. There's no contact at this stage. It appears that everything's okay. Then obviously it's wet. They run out wide, and there's just the slightest contact. I mean, Matt Neal does run out to the edge of the track, but it's unusual for the car to be speared off in that direction.
This is the onboard with Matt Jackson. This was obviously further back. He was battling his way through. There was Tom Chilton, and it looked like Harry Boltcard on the outside, and Jackson nipped through. And in fact, Jackson is now up to 11th overall. That's a good first couple of laps for Matt Jackson. Onslow Cole is still one ahead of him in 10th place. So those guys have both moved up extremely well. Another little bit of a replay here, just looking at that. That was from on board Tom Chilton's point of view.
Yeah, watch this. I've got a feeling Stockton on the left might actually straight line the chicane. Yes, he did. He actually straight lined the chicane. I wonder where he appeared from when I saw that Jackson on board of him on the left, but I think under the circumstances it was probably the wisest thing to do.
Yeah, otherwise they probably wouldn't have made it past those tyres. Lights are out on the safety car, so it's a very brief interruption this time, and we'll be up to racing speed once again. So Turkington, who was able to ease away on that first run, but now of course in behind him, instead of having Gordon Shedden, he now has Matt Neal, who loves these conditions in this Vauxhall, and you can bet that he'll go on the attack. So Turkington has the job of easing them out. Collard now up to 3rd place in the Motorbase car, with Giovanardi up to 4th, Stephen Kane up to 5th place, and across the line they go. Let's nip down to the pits. Louise is with Gordon Shedden.
Gordon, how are you feeling about that one? I can imagine.
Again, don't think it needs to happen. You know, Matt had gone up the inside late, had given him loads of room, and he just sideswiped across the front of the car on the exit of the corner, and obviously massive damage. So, you know, there's easily room enough for 2 cars to go abreast round there. Didn't need to happen.
I mean, obviously the irony here as well as your teammate last year, and it's his dad running your team now.
You know, when you're out there, you're racing and that's it. But regardless of who it is, I still think there was room for 2 cars to exit out of that corner. One didn't need to end up in the barriers.
Thanks, Gordon.
Thanks, Louise. Well, we've got some good... off goes Stockton. Oh, same place, but a bit earlier on. Straight into the cornfield. And, well, I don't know quite where he's going.
Well, Chris Stockers is exploring all the areas that Croft has got to offer. He's been straight line the chicane and now locked up the brakes.
Somebody else is
one
off.
of the Jordans.
Yeah, I think it's Andrew Jordan off. Yep, it is Andrew Jordan who's been off, and he was up into, where was he, 9th? He was up in 9th place, but he's had an off and he's now got back on again. Take a look at this through the fast Jim Clark S's. Whoa, we've seen his car control, but
Well, we saw Andrew repeatedly going through Church at Thruxton sideways, and his car control just lost a bit there. Well, that was just too deep into the corner there, Stockton, and well, you'd have to, as I say, go back to the pits again to get rid of the grass. But at the moment, there's 1, 2, 3 BMWs in the top 5, so they're going strongly. Stephen Kane has the fastest lap. He's the second of the 2 white BMWs in 5th place.
Looking back from Fabrizio Giovanardi at Stephen Kane, so you're riding on board the 4th place car, the championship leader, the Italian Giovanardi, looking back at the Irishman Stephen Kane, who's determined to try and get past. But the BMWs, we do know, struggle a bit when conditions are half and half. Oh, look at that, Giovanardi actually running on the grass on the exit of the tight chicane there, but managing to keep it going in a straight line. Now down towards Tower, where we've seen so many cars off today, and Kane under a bit of pressure himself there from Mike Jordan. Adam Jones, and then Jason Plato through. Plato now in 8th place. Onslow Cole in 9th. Jackson in 10th position in the points. But can they move up from there? That's the question.
Yeah, I alluded to this at the start of the race, that conditions would change and certain cars would be quick at the beginning and slower at the end, and it looks like the BMWs are starting to struggle a little bit. The front-wheel drive cars may be coming to their own.
Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. It could put Turkington, the race leader, under pressure. It could put the other BMWs under some pressure too, but for the moment it's still Turkington leading in the Team RAC car, the VXR machine of Matt Neal running in 2nd place. Rob Collard, there's Michael Jordan running in 6th place, so Dad is well up at the moment, 6th place. Son Andrew down in 12th after that frightening moment a lap or so ago. He's done a lot of rallycross here as Andrew Jordan. I think he was practicing his rallycross techniques and getting that car pointing in the right direction again, but he managed to do it. He's in 12th. Further down the order, Tom Chilton's still running, but he's down in 14th place, just ahead of Stephen Jelly. Across the line they go. That's 6 laps completed. It's now a 16-lap race because of that 1 lap behind safety car.
And Collard's still pushing very hard behind Matt Neal, but clearly struggling to find a place that he can get through. Plato, meanwhile, is up to 8th, but he's got Matt Jackson behind him. Look at the difference in line there. Matt Jackson much tighter on the exit there.
So Matt Jackson really looking to try and pick up the places here. He's going up against Jason Plato. That could be an interesting confrontation. Leaders are already into Tower Corner. Nobody on a challenge just here. Watch out for Jackson in the white BMW. Having a go at the Seat there of Plato, but he doesn't do so on the approach. But you're seeing Plato's having to be defensive. Jackson's had a good run out of the corner. Might be able to draw alongside the Seat up towards the S's. And he's done it. He's got it past him before they even get into the S's. So great move by Matt Jackson. That puts him 8th.
Yeah, the traction of the BMW saw him set up that wide entry, get alongside. Here we go, he gets alongside very early, hard on the power. And the fact he can get on the throttle flat earlier, just a split second before Plato, is enough to carry his momentum through and past.
Neither car carrying ballast, so both in good shape there. And Jackson moving up the order. He'll have to go after Adam Jones next to try and gain another position. There's the battle for second. Rob Collard chasing down Matt Neal. Again, this is allowing Turkington to make a little break. Safety car obviously closed up the lead that he had earlier in this race, but he has managed to ease it out again. It was 0.8 of a second the last time they went over the line, and this time as they cross the line, well, that's actually as much the same, so he's not opened it up any more than it was previous lap.
No, it's certainly not a comfortable lead of any description, is it? He hasn't got to defend his line anywhere, but he can't afford to make the slightest mistake.
Giovanardi still running solidly in 4th place, and in terms of the points, that's crucial. He's 20 points in the lead of the championship after that earlier race result we had today. And interestingly, Matt Neal has moved up to 2nd place in the points as a result of that earlier result. So he's leapfrogged past Plato, past Onslow Cole, and Matt Neal, of course, at the moment, running 2nd in this race ahead of Giovanardi. So interesting to keep an eye on that one. Adam Jones, Matt Jackson again on the attack now, and having got past Jason Plato, Matt Jackson's next target is Adam Jones. And of course, Jackson and Jones, Tim, are really racing for independence points as well. They're very close to one another. Oh, he's done it already. Look, he's through. He's passed.
Yeah, he's very quick out of Tower, isn't he? But Adam Jones will fight back. We've seen Adam Jones very aggressively fighting back. Remember at Brands Hatch when he went straight up, and look, he's down the inside into Sunny 1, Sunny in. There he is. Might even push Jackson out onto the dirt. And that's what I like about Adam Jones. As soon as he's passed, he fights back immediately.
Great stuff from the man from Solihull. Yep, Adam Jones on the attack. He won't be passed that easily, and so Matt Jackson is going to have to think about it again. But that BMW looking very quick in these middling conditions. When we thought the BMW would struggle, actually, in Matt Jackson's case, it's flying. Certainly out of Tower Corner. So let's see whether he goes on the attack here. No, can't quite, because Adam Jones makes sure he protects the position. Remember, Adam Jones is in a petrol-powered Seat Leon. Behind Jackson is the diesel-powered Seat of Jason Plato.
Yeah, Plato will be looking for some opportunist move here, I'm sure, but clearly Jackson's car, they got the dampers, the setup very, very good for these conditions. He won't get round the outsider. Now watch, he'll try and cut to the inside here. He's got very good traction. He takes a tight line. That's Plato and Onslow. No, it's Darren Turner and Onslow Cole side by side.
Yeah, this is.
And there we go. That inside line's worked for Jackson.
Yeah, you said it would work, and it did. So great line from Matt Jackson, and that does put him back into 7th place. And that, well, it'd be useful points in the independents, but the independents class at the moment being led by race leader Colin Turkington. Good little race going on further up the order too. Jason Plato, bit deep, Taron Turner under pressure from Onslow Cole. And it's Turkington, Neal and Collard. Top 3 very close. Then Kane, Giovanardi. Has Kane got past Giovanardi? Let's just check that when we look back at that next little group. I want to see whether the other BMW is ahead. We've certainly got still Colin Turkington leading this race. Yeah, Stephen Kane has got past Giovanardi. So now Collard and Kane, the 2 Motorbase teammates, are running 3rd and 4th.
Well, I don't want to jinx those guys. They've had so much bad luck in the season and a half they've been in the championship, but you know, they really thoroughly do deserve a good result. I know they've been working very hard with the car since the last race at Thruxton. They think they'd identified the problem with the car and their lack of pace as being in the damper area, and they've worked hard on the dampers, and certainly in these conditions their cars are absolutely flying.
Yeah, good stuff. So Turkington still our race leader. comes across the line to complete 9 laps this time, on to lap 10 out of 16. And he's got a useful little advantage, 3/4 of a second. This is how Stephen Kane was able to get past Giovinazzi. Let's just see, it was down through those first couple of corners, was it? Oh, and Giovinazzi made a mistake. Well, he had to straight line the chicane.
Yeah, Jackson was already alongside him, so he had to take the Stockton line and go round, because if you try to go side by side, you're straight into that pile of tyres and massive damage.
So, Rob Collard runs third. His teammate, Stephen Kane, is fourth. Big difference in experience between the two of them. Collard vastly experienced, of course, in touring cars. Stephen Kane in his first ever season in the British Touring Car Championship. There is Rob Collard then. And as you say, Tim, bit of a star. Oh, and Kane thrown a bit wide. He's managed to just hold it. My goodness, has he kept the momentum? That's the question. I think he might have got away with it.
Yeah, just managed to hold it on the tarmac, but the lap times have dropped off by over 2 seconds from the fastest lap. Now, you may think that that's strange when the track is actually drying, but it's now too dry, really. Oh, and that's wide again by Neil, but
it's Giovinazzi. He's coming under pressure from Jackson, who's got past Jordan, so Jackson's still on the move here.
Yeah, the wet tyres, I was saying, are actually overheating now. The track's drying out too much, and this will affect the cars in different ways. The front-wheel drive cars will start to get a lot of oversteer as the rear tyres slide. The front-wheel drive cars, well, anything can happen.
Matt Jackson, there he is. Look how close he is to Giovinazzi. He started 18th with Matt Jackson, and he's now challenging for 5th place. He's trying to go around the outside. That won't happen. It's the hairpin. He'll tuck back in here, but there's no denying the fact that that BMW is very, very rapid. He's putting the championship leader and reigning champion Fabrizio Giovinazzi under some serious pressure now as they come across the line this time. And just looking in the background there, Stephen Jelly looking for some wet track to cool those tyres down. His teammate, there he is, Colin Turkington, still has the advantage here over Matt Neal and Rob Collard. There's Jackson on the attack, and he's done it. Same thing again, tight line, and he's through at Hawthorne. Nice move for Matt Jackson, and he has now moved into 5th place. Great stuff from the youngster, and he really is making up for the disappointment of what went on here in the first race.
Yeah, the guys they only have 2 types of tyre, a full wet or and again Jackson wide, doing what Kane did the lap before, just staying on the track. Has he lost the position though? Back to Giovinazzi, they're side by side. I think he'll be okay. He's got the left hand, yes he is, he's still okay. But they only have 2 types of tyres, but what sometimes the teams will do when the track is drying very quickly like this, they'll start on a set of wets that have actually been worn down, almost sort of halfway down, because the blocks won't move around, they get more grip. I wonder if that's what Jackson's done.
Good question. That was the move when he got past Giovinazzi, and it was very straightforward. But it's still Colin Turkington, the Northern Irishman, who leads this race at the moment, from Matt Neal, the double champion of former years, and then right behind him is Rob Collard from Hampshire, and he's really got the mood on here to try and take 2nd place, hasn't he, Rob Collard? An aggressive racer. Matt Neal will be all too aware of that as he sees that white, red and black BMW sitting in his mirrors. Then it's Stephen Kane, who now is coming under pressure from the BMW. Mike Jordan, meanwhile, side by side with Giovinazzi. These two have had contact in the past, and it's Mike Jordan on the outside as they head down towards Clairvaux, the first corner. Surely he's not going to be able to sweep around the outside of the Vauxhall, is he? Giovinazzi, one of the most aggressive. You can't go through there side by side. Oh, somehow they got through there, still side by side. Wonderful stuff from 2 of the most experienced racers in British touring cars, still side by side. And Jordan's got through, but he has to straight line the chicane.
Well, who said you couldn't be brave at 50 years old? And no wonder this man is such an icon for the male fraternity, shall we say? Hence the pink name on the car. He's got plenty of gumption.
Yeah, well, this is great, wasn't it? Absolutely superb. And they were still side by side at this point. Jordan tried to get in the end, he just had to sort of straight cut the chicane. He'd probably get away with that, because if he hadn't done that, they would have both ended up in the tyre barrier. So an interesting one. That puts Jordan then up 1 position and puts him into 6th. But up front, it's still Colin Turkington leading. Matt Neal there in 2nd in the Vauxhall. In car number 4, still under pressure from Rob Collard right behind. We're on to lap 12 out of 16. Little way to go yet.
Yeah, Turkington now does have a discernible lead. That 2nd is we're going to make him feel comfortable, but Kane under pressure from Jackson. This battle of the BMWs. Rob Collard now right up behind Matt Neal. He's spent the whole race behind him. He's been incredibly patient, certainly by Rob Collard's standards. He's often accused of being very, very aggressive, but he's spent the whole race behind Matt Neal, and he will be thinking desperately about whether he can improve on that 3rd place.
Jordan still ahead of Giovanardi, but only just, and it's Matt Jackson at the back of this group now who's on the attack. Is he going to have a little look? No. Just, Tim, talk us through. There's a slight difference between the two BMWs run by Motorbase with the red colours and Matt Jackson's, and that's in their gearbox, but that's not only the difference, it makes a difference to the weight. Here comes Jackson. Is that slightly lighter car of Jackson's going to get through? I think it is. Jackson's done it. Great move. Now, that car is a fraction lighter, isn't it? Will that be helping?
Not hugely in this situation. The Jackson car you're talking about runs the 5-speed gearbox. The Motorbase cars run a 6-speed gearbox, and the penalty for having the 6 gears is that they have to run 30 kilos heavier. Now, normally 30 kilos is 0.3 of a second, but I think there's far more difference in tyre performance and setup because the guys are running sort of 4 seconds off the pace at the moment based on their lap time. So I think that isn't a factor at the moment, and Jackson's just got the car really hooked up.
Giovanardi's got back past Jordan. That's how he did it on the straight. That's a slightly odd one. Maybe Jordan's got a slight problem. This was the manoeuvre for Matt Jackson to get past Stephen Kane. And again, it's this tight line which he has developed to perfection. Gets on the inside here and then just great traction, muscles his way through.
Yeah, it's interesting watching those two cars, seemingly identical, go through the same piece of tarmac, and there's a lot more movement in Jackson's car. The rear of the car really moving a lot more than the Stephen Kane car. Here we go.
Well, Neil having to defend from Collard, but Matt Jackson might be able to take advantage of this. Jackson's come from 18th, he's now 4th, and you can see him at the back of this group, and he's really on a charge here. The man who felt he should have won earlier on went off in those terrible wet conditions, and he's on the attack now as they come down towards Clairvaux. No way past just yet, though. Great stuff.
Yeah, but we know what he's going to do, don't we? He's going to try and tee Kane up. Does Kane know that have the same inside tight line? Looks like he does. Kane's using that same inside line, so it's not going to be so easy for Jackson to get through. Oh, big slide there. That was well.
He's lost third. Oh, Collard, just when it looks as though they might get their best ever result. Collard, big slide, and he's just gathered it together.
Yeah, he has. He's trying ever so hard, desperately. Slide again. I think the tyres are going away on Collard's car, but watch this. It's a great slide. Look, clips the curb, car runs wide, holds it, just runs out wide. Collard loses a bit of pace, and through goes Jackson. Jackson could win this race, you know.
From 18th on the grid, do you reckon he could really?
He could.
Wow, well, he's still got a little bit of time. We're on lap 14 out of 16, so 2 and a bit laps still to go here. Turkington continues to lead this race, and now Jackson's next target is Matt Neal. How's he going to find a way past Matt Neal in the Vauxhall, the Vectra, which has been so strong this year? Bobbing, weaving, looking for any opportunity. Surely not down here. It's very much a one-line corner, this left into the right of the S's and then up towards the hairpin. Maybe a chance there, but Matt Neal, I'm sure, will be ready for it. Yeah, he covers that line, and look, Collard's going to join in again.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson's potentially over a second quicker than these guys. His lap times in clear track were a second quicker, but he's going to run out of laps unless he gets past Matt Neal immediately.
Yeah, he's got to do it quickly. He's looking around here, maybe having a think, but we know how fast Jackson is on the next section. Now watch him. This is where, to the next part of this corner where he's been so fast. He'll go to the inside here. Watch him. Oh, Matt Neal covers the inside. Clever from Matt Neal. He knows what to look for. Doesn't give Matt Jackson that bit of space that everyone else has allowed him to have, and then Neal very fast through the chicane.
Yeah, Matt Neal always takes the tightest line. He likes to drive point to point as close as he can, and some drivers like to run out wider, but he certainly had it covered there, and that's effectively stopped any Charles Jackson out of winning the race, because he's run out. This is the other favourite place he's got.
Though he might well have done him, he's got great traction out of Tower Corner, and Matt Jackson has moved up into second place. Matt Jackson has come from 18th, he's into second place, and he could still win this race, but there's a big gap between himself and race leader Colin Turkington. But this is one of the drives of the season, no doubt about it, from Matt Jackson in the BMW. He's fought his way past Matt Neal.
Yeah, brilliant. Look, Matt Neal's actually a little bit wide anyway, so he opened the door for Matt Jackson. Again, Matt Jackson's able to get planted on the power early enough, and his momentum takes him through before they get to the left-hand part of the Jim Clark S's. And he's actually closing up very quickly on Colin Turkington.
That's right. So still with a lap to go as they come across the line this time. Matt Neal under pressure there from Rob Collard, so it's still pretty tight there for third place. Collard still looking for that first ever podium finish for the Motorbase team. He's not given up on that yet. but there's no room on the way down to the first corner. Onto the final lap then. Is Turkington going to be able to hold off the attempts of Matt Jackson to take the victory here? Or is Jackson going to complete a fairy tale? Well, at the moment, Turkington looking to be in control through that vital Clairvaux-Hawthorne section. He still has a useful margin, 1.2 seconds over Matt Jackson. That was as they crossed the line. It might be a little less than that as they head down towards Tower Corner. The critical right-hander. This is where Matt Jackson's been very fast. Look how he closes up under braking. Gets the traction, but of course they're both rear-wheel drive BMWs. Both have good traction, and Jackson can't take any advantage of that. Into the Jim Clark S's now. Not much more than 2 or 3 cars lengths between them, I wouldn't say. Matt Neal still in third, then Collard in fourth, and Kane under pressure there from Giovanardi. There might be a change for 5th place behind them, but it's surely the race leader here, Colin Turkington, who's feeling the pressure, seeing that other BMW catching him. He must think, where did he come from? I'm sure he started way down on the grid. Well, he did. He started 18th, but he's attacking for the lead. We're into the last couple of corners now, and that crucial hairpin coming up, which is surely the... Oh, big side from Turkington. He gathers it together, but there's still 2 corners to go. Turkington looking to try and make it 2 out of 2 here, but can he hold off from Matt Jackson? Matt Jackson goes wide. Turkington runs in deep into the corner. Now it's a drag race to the line, and Turkington's going to hold on. Is he just going to do it? Turkington makes it 2 out of 2 for Team RAC. But Matt Jackson, the star of the show. 3rd place just goes to Matt Neal. Rob Collard takes 4th. Who's going to be 5th? Big question mark. It's Giovanardi who takes 5th. Jones is 6th. Mike Jordan is 7th. What happened to Stephen Kane? That's what's happened to Stephen Kane. He's slowing down. He's into pit lane. Poor Stephen Kane. It looked to be Motorbase's best ever result. Well, it is. They've still got 4th place for Collard, but it looked like they were going to have 2. But what a drive. Let's see if we can talk to him. This is Ben in the commentary box to Matt. What a drive, mate, what a drive. Fantastic stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a good drive for everybody in the Accident Exchange BMW dealer team. Fantastic job there. The car was absolutely awesome. We made some changes early on in the wet conditions, and boy, they've worked on the BMW today.
Well, that was absolutely magic. Well done, Matt. And well, what a result for the team, for everybody involved there. The BMW dealer team UK, his father Tony, his brother as well involved in that team, and they've come through to finish in 2nd. But let's not forget a vital victory for Colin Turkington then. Look how close it was on the line. This was as they came up to cross the line there, across the line, and it was a 1/10 of a second between them, according to our timing screen. 1/10 of a second separating the top 2 finishers, and Turkington just taking that victory. So it's 2 out of 2 here today for Colin Turkington for Team RAC, but only just from a stunning drive by Matt Jackson, who comes from 18th to finish 2nd. Matt Neal in 3rd place, Rob Collard in 4th for Motorbase, their best ever result. 5th place for Fabrizio Giovanardi, and then 6th for Adam Jones. 7th place, a fighting drive for Mike Jordan, finishing ahead of both of the Seats, Jason Plato and Darren Turner, with Stephen Jelly picking up the final point in 10th. Well, absolutely superb stuff at the end there, and Colin Turkington just holding on for the victory, beating Matt Jackson by that tiny margin. And well, good racing here after difficult days, conditions, especially earlier on, but a drying track gave us a wonderful race to enjoy. And let's just see what that does to the standings. Well, Giovanardi still with a comfortable advantage. He finished 5th in that race. Matt Neal, though, in a strong 2nd place. He's drawn away now. Jason Plato in 3rd. Look at Matt Jackson. He's moved back up to 4th ahead of Turkington, then Onslow Cole, then Gordon Shedden out of luck in that one. A clash with Matt Neal. Darren Turner 8th, Adam Jones in 9th place, and Tom Chilton rounding out the top 10.
Well, it was worth waiting for, wasn't it? What an absolutely fantastic race there. And a right thriller towards the end. Matt Jackson, what is he on this weekend? Absolutely storming through to go for it. But it was Colin Turkington in the other BMW who took the win. We will talk to Colin and Matt in a couple of minutes' time. Welcome back to Croft, and this was really the key moment. Colin Turkington, having built up such a great lead, then gets a big tank slapper on, and Matt Jackson's always there, always hungry, has a go going down into the slowest part of the circuit, the hairpin right down, but it's always going to be very difficult to get round on the outside. Tries the inside, but in the end just has to nudge the other Beamer home to make it a 1-2 for BMW. They'll be very happy in Munich, I'm sure, and very happy down here in the studio as well, because we have the two protagonists. Now, that would have been the first time you would have seen that, Colin. What happened with that slide?
Yeah, it was a very scary moment, believe me. You know, as the race went on, there was less and less water on the track, so my wet tyres were getting hotter and hotter, and it just became more difficult to keep the car on the track. And you know, you feel the pressure from the guy behind, and I could see Matt was catching me, and I was trying to push. You know, I didn't have far to go, and I just lost the rear end and thought, oh no, that's I have a lot of lock on here, but yeah, I'm delighted to gather it up and get my second win of the day. So.
Yeah, it must feel fantastic though. I mean, I can't remember the last time you won 2 races in a weekend.
Yeah, never. This is I was just speaking to my engineer saying, you know, when are we going to do it? So, you know, I'm delighted for everybody at the Team RAC. You know, it's been a huge effort this weekend, so I'm really, really happy.
And what was the key to it though? I mean, because you were so far ahead, it's just the characteristics of this BMW 320?
Yeah, well, just like the first race, you know, when there's a lot of water on the track, we're very strong, but as it dries out, you know, when it's that in between dry and wet, that's when we start to struggle. So beginning of the race, you know, I could stay comfortably ahead of Matt and Neil, but then I knew Matt was coming through in the same type of car, so it was a big pressure at the end.
Okay, well, stay right there, Colin, because you have to do the draw for the 3rd race of the day. Matt, just talk us through that move. You almost had him, almost.
Yeah, it was always going to be tight, but you know, the BMW performed superb today in those conditions in that race. Like Colin said, it was drying out towards the end and it was getting a little bit slippy. You know, as the tyres got a little bit too hot, but you know, to come from 18th on the grid to 2nd, and you know, just a few hundredths between the two of us, it's a good result.
Well, let's have a look at it. I mean, you're on fire today. What was it down to?
I think that the BMW in these conditions on this circuit is performing absolutely superb. You know, it's I think in those conditions, it's the best car out there today. You know, and you know, the BMW dealer team have done a fantastic job on the setup of the car, and it's just you know, we've got grip and it's working.
Which one was your favourite? I mean, Collard kind of let you through. I bet your favourite probably would have been that one for the lead, though.
Absolutely, the one that didn't happen. Yeah, the one that got away. It's always, isn't it? But no, I think, you know, everybody out there today, it's you know, all drivers have given room as we've come through the field, and that's you know, great testament to a great championship.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. Good job today. It's given you a lot of points actually, which has helped you no end. We'll let you go off. We have to do the draw for race 3 of the day. Let's have a look at the numbers that you've got to look out for. As I say, from 6 to 10, they are the ones. So 6 is Adam Jones, 7 is Mike Jordan, 8 is Jason Plato, 9 is Darren Turner, and 10 Stephen Jelly. They are the ones you need to watch out for. Okay, if you'd just like to hold the ball here. We have Holly coming in here to just assist us with the draw. Yeah, very nice. Excellent movement, Holly. Very good. So if you'd just like to look over there so you can't see which one you're drawing out, Holly will continue her sort of hula movement, and you've got to pick one out. This is great, isn't it? All right, the top's come off. It's number 7. Is it number 7? It is number 7. Excellent. Good stuff. So that's Mike Jordan. The guy who's in Flushing pink today. Mike Jordan is on pole position for race 3 of the day. Thank you very much, Holly. Thank you very much, Colin. Here's Ben Edwards with confirmation of the grid.
Thanks, Ted. Well, it was Andrew Jordan, wasn't it, last time, who won the draw to take pole for race 3. Now it's his dad, Mike, who'll start from pole. Adam Jones will be alongside him, big rival of Matt Jackson's in the independent points. And then Giovanardi will start 3rd. Collard will start 4th, ahead of Matt Neal and Matt Jackson. There he is, the man who came from 18th to 2nd. He'll start 6th on the grid. Ahead of race winner Colin Turkington. Jason Plater will be 8th, then Darren Turner. Stephen Jelly will be 10th, then Tom Onslow, Cole and Jason Hughes on row number 6. And then as we continue on further down the order, we'll see the rest of them lining up as they finished, in fact, in that previous race. So it's going to be a pretty exciting round 15, as we've come to expect.